Hi everybody, I'm Cassie. Welcome to my channel. And your eyes are not playing tricks on you. My hair really is purple all of a sudden. I got it done the day after I made my last video, and I love it. Though I wish the guy who did it would have dyed the top more. Let's just say I'm never going back to him. But anyway, I am here today to talk about the book, The Elegance of the Hedgehog, which my mind is blank. Today I am here to talk about the book, The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery. He's French. This book came out in 2008 and it was also translated in 2008 from French. So obviously this book takes place in France, specifically Paris. And I just finished this book last night, so if my video's kind of all over the place and lots of pauses, and like lots of jumping and stuff, I apologize. But I'm just trying to get my thoughts together about this book, and I like to do that by talking. So, hence the video. So it's actually kind of funny. It's actually kind of a funny story about how I ended up with this copy of this book. So I originally saw it in 2012, which is when this edition came out at Barnes & Noble, and I saw it because of this beautiful blue cover with a girl on it who at 2012 looked like to be a little bit younger than me. So I thought it might be a book for about my age. Then I opened the cover, I found out it was a little bit older audience, so I decided not to get it. And then over the summer I was at Barnes & Noble again with my best friend, and I saw it and I was going to buy it, and I decided not to for some reason. I ended up buying other books. But after we left Barnes & Noble, we went to the used bookstore, and right as I was about to leave, I saw it, and so I had to pick it up and get it. So that is how I ended up with this book, strangely enough. So this book is set in a hotel in Paris, France. No, it's not a hotel. It's called a hotel, but it's actually an apartment building. So yeah. Takes a minute to figure out, but it's not an hotel, it's in an apartment that is called a hotel. Paris. Weird. It's about a concierge at the apartment named Renee, whose job is basically to water plants and get mail, I guess. And this girl who lives in the hotel, whose name I cannot say, but I will spell it Paloma. I'm just going to call her the girl because I do not speak French and I don't want to butcher her name. And so she is the daughter of a politician who lives in this apartment building. And while they know of each other, they do not actually meet until the last 50 pages of the book, which is surprising because if you read the flap, you think they'd be together the whole time. But they're not. And so this story starts out with Renee, and her dealing with, well, he's not exactly dead yet, but he's one of the people in the apartment building dying. And the guy who's dying is actually the guy who the first book by this author was written about. You don't need to read that one to understand this book's actually not related at all. But they both take place in the same setting. So I might pick it up after reading this one, if I can find it, that is, but I don't really know. And so the apartment building is dealing with this guy's death, and then this Japanese businessman buys the apartment and kind of redesigns it, and that's kind of a whole big deal. And it's actually kind of the reason I put this book up, because anyone who's watched my other videos knows that I love anything to do with Japanese or East Asian culture. And so that's kind of what made me want to buy this book, besides this beautiful cover, because I wanted to see about how France deals with Japanese culture. And it was actually only the very ending of the book, which kind of made me upset, but I didn't really care too much because the side of the book was lovely. And then this girl, Pamela, as I mentioned, is the daughter of a politician, and she doesn't really like her family. They don't really get along, and she thinks they're all idiots because her and Renee, just kind of while they're together, are both these supreme geniuses, and this book is basically them trying to figure out life and their culture and society as a whole and how to function in it, being who they are and seeing things the way they do, which is really, really fascinating. But also part of the reason it took me 6 months to read this book, because it's very, very philosophical and very deep, and I was reading lots of philosophical stuff for school, and so I didn't want to read that stuff in my spare time. So I read about 10 other books in a period of 6 months, and I was also reading this book. But I did read the last 90 pages all last night. Yeah, I read it took me 6 months to read the first, 2/3 of the book, and then I read the last bit of it all last night. But I guess that kind of says something about the book. Like, I read the first 100 pages really, really fast, and then the next 100 pages is what took me the 3 months to read. Excuse me, hiccuping all of a sudden. My bad. So it is a page turner if you have the time to sit down and pay attention and focus on the book. If you don't feel bad about, If you don't feel bad about taking months to read it. Read other books while you're reading it. It's that kind of book. There's not a lot of action to it. You can put it down and pick it up and know exactly what is still going on, because it kind of flows, and as you read it, you remember what happened before. Because there's a lot of tie-ins, but not so directly tied in that you have to go back and think about it or read it all at once, which I really enjoyed. The book is mostly told through stories. There's not a lot of person-on-person talking in this book. There's a little bit of it between Renee and her best friend Manuela. There's a bit talking between Manuela. Oh, gotta go. Coming!